What's the guy in the wheelchair? The scientist. That's what it sounded like.
Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm back. I am back, and you are back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Attractions Podcast. It is both Seth and Carly. It feels
Woo!
like it's been forever. I have missed you. You look tanned. You look rested. You
I
don't look rested, but
I'm not rested. No, I am not rested, but we can get into that.
yes. Well, let's just say real high. We had real quick. Say real high. Real quick hi to folks in the chat. We got a few people hanging out, and then we will start recording. Real quick. By the way, thank you for those of you who figured out that we're here on Tuesday instead of Monday, because yesterday was Labor Day, and we did not feel like laboring. Hello in Derek's Corner to Blossom and Michelangelo. As always, welcome our good friend Michael Bingham. Yes, fins up for Jimmy. We are going to talk about that very briefly in a bit. But welcome Halloween season and welcome Michael. And Weiser, hello. Thank you for checking in. And
Hello.
Brian Sager here as always. Disney dropping bombshells this week. Well, we'll talk just very briefly about the Disney treasure. It was not on our agenda, but we posted some things this morning on our website that we will mention in just a moment. And we're also going to have to talk a little bit about where you've been. But I think while we've got about a dozen people in the chat, let us kick off this recording. As soon as I get everything set up here. One moment, please. I have to reset up some stuff here. We go. Share. Remove. And here we go. In 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 207 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's been going on in our own lives. And Carly, we have missed you so much. I've had a couple great guest hosts for the last few weeks, but it is wonderful to have you back. And why don't you let everyone know what you have been up to while you've been gone?
So I can't hear you. Your
Oh,
thing sounds like
no.
a robot again.
No. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. Check 1, check 2. Unmute. People in the comments also can't hear me. Shoot. I just want to make sure it's not you. Hello? Hello? No. Okay. We're gonna pause recording this, I guess. Talk to me. What can you hear anything at all?
I
No.
can hear a little bit, but it just sounds a little robotic.
Okay. I'm going to try to log off one more time and see if this. Oh, but can I log out without ending the broadcast? I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try unplugging.
Can you see me? Not hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yay! Okay. All right, we're gonna
Wait.
just start. Oh,
I
no.
I still can't. You're still chopping out like a robot.
Okay. Are you connected? I know it is that the audio problem
And
is on your end.
now it sounds like the robot again.
I know the audio problem is on your end, not my end. Did you reboot your computer?
Yeah.
You rebooted your computer. This is your
Okay.
usual. Yeah, because I'm literally like I listened to it on YouTube, and I could tell like my audio was fine. So I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah, I can't. It's so weird. I can't hear you. I could see you and everything.
Do you have another computer, another device? Can you try logging in on your iPad or your iPhone or anything else?
What did you say?
I said, can you try your iPad, your iPhone, any other device to see if you can log in with
I don't
any
have
other
an
device?
iPad. Should I try my phone?
Anything. Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure the problem is on your end, as far as I can tell. I know this is fascinating. Hello, everyone. If you're still there. I know this is fascinating. Hello, everyone. Are you connected? I know it is that the audio problem is on your end.
Now it sounds like the robot again.
I know the audio problem. The problem is on your end, not my end. Did you reboot your computer?
Yeah.
You rebooted your computer. This is your usual. Yeah, because I'm literally like I listened to it on YouTube, and I could tell like my audio was fine. So I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah, I can't. It's so weird. I can't hear you. I can see you and everything.
Do you have another computer, another device? Can you try logging in on your iPad or your iPhone or anything else?
What did you say?
I said, can you try your iPad, your iPhone, any other device to see if you can log in?
I don't have an iPad. Should I try my phone?
Anything. Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure the problem is on your end, as far as I can tell. Trying it again. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can see you now.
Okay.
What?
I'm getting a lot of echo. Do you have headphones or
like
earbuds
AirPods?
or anything? Yeah. Just because I can hear the echo.
One sec.
Actually, wait. Hold on. Let me turn this off. Maybe that'll cancel it out. Try it now. You know what? I think it might be good enough without. Let's try it again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know where my AirPods are, of course.
Okay. Are you? It's weird. You're like vertical with letter boxes. Can your phone go the other direction? There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that'll do.
This will do. You can hear me. I can hear you.
I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome. We are going to try this whole thing over again from the start. Oh, what a day. What a day. All right.
I don't know what's going on.
So we're going to pretend that none of this happened, and we're just going to go back to the top. Those of us who have been watching for the last 18 minutes on YouTube, aren't you lucky you got a little bit behind the scenes experience? All right, so we are just going to rewind. I'm going to run the intro now. Let me just make sure that I've got to get this presentation set up. Share. And unshare. And okay, here we go. Let's do this in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 207 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. Carly, we have missed you so much for the last few weeks. I've had some great guest hosts, but it is great to have you back. And I am so excited for you to tell us all a little bit about where you have been.
I don't even know where I am right now, to be honest with you. My body is very confused. I'm actually at Disneyland right now, doing opening of Oogie Boogie, and there's some Halloween events, and I'm going to a preview of Tiana's Palace. But before that, I was at Halloween Horror Nights opening weekend in Orlando. And then I know we'll be talking about that. So the big thing was I was in South Africa for 2 weeks on my first Adventures by Disney.
So you got to have a real safari, not the Kilimanjaro safari at Animal Kingdom, but the real thing.
It's just a little bit different.
Just a little
tiny bit. It was my first, the animals were really cool, but it wasn't even that. That was kind of the lasting impression. It was just to be immersed in a culture that's so different from our own. Was overwhelming. I mean, it was incredible. It was I know now when people say bucket list trip, like it just to me was like a buzzword before, but that really was. The people were amazing. And I couldn't imagine doing it with someone other than Disney because I also felt very safe. Which I think is the big thing when you go to a place that's so different. I feel comfortable, booking a trip to Europe and going around but on my own. And I don't even think twice about that. But to go to a place like South Africa where there's so many nuances, load shedding, if you haven't heard of it, is real. The power is shut off for 5 hours every day. And, Disney keeps you posted how that affects your stay, the hotel, water heaters are shut off. So it's going to a totally different world, but you feel really comfortable because someone is helping you along the way. Our guides were just phenomenal. I miss them. Everyone on the trip was like, we missed them already. It was incredible. Like a life-changing trip.
I'm so jealous. I can't wait to read more. I'm sure you're going to be writing plenty of articles about that.
A lot,
yeah. Just sounds like an amazing. I have not gotten to do anything nearly that exciting since you have been gone.
Sure.
I did, though, get invited on behalf of Attractions Magazine to go cover the Great Irish Hoolie, which is an event that's been going on for many years, and I just love it over at Raglan Road. It happens over Labor Day weekend. We've got some pictures on our socials and an article up about it. If you've never attended, make plans to do it some year. Great music, great food, and we got to sample some new menu items that are hopefully going to be sticking around past the event. So definitely check that out. There was some sad news this weekend. We don't have a whole news story about it, but I just want to, pay a little attention. We lost Jimmy Buffett this past week. And even if you weren't and maybe necessarily a fan of his music, you could not get away from his contributions to theme parks and tourism. Whether it's Margaritaville at City Walk at Universal, or his Margaritaville Resort in Kissimmee, or Margaritaville in Las Vegas, or pretty much anywhere in the planet, cruise ships. He really, kind of brought that Florida ethos to just such a wide range of different travel and hospitality things that will long outlast him. So our thoughts with his family and friends, of course.
Definitely. I will not gonna lie, I went immediately to Margaritaville at City Walk Orlando for lunch because it just felt right.
Right.
But yeah, that was, so young, and I'm sure he will leave a lasting impression, especially in tourism.
Yep. His name will certainly be at City Walk for a long time to come. And I am glad I did get to see him in concert once there at City Walk. He performed, back in the day. He would drop in every so often when Margaritaville first opened, and I got to see him do a concert there once.
Very cool.
And another little bit of news that we are not going to be diving too deeply into today because it just dropped, but please head on over to attractionsmagazine.com for information that dropped today about the Disney Treasure cruise ship. This is the cruise ship that was not originally built to be a Disney ship, but was purchased by Disney when it was under construction. And oh, I'm sorry. No, this is the Treasure. This is a sister ship to the Wish. Sorry.
Yep.
Mixed. So many Disney cruise ships to
There's
make
so
up.
many coming up. Yes.
This one is the one that's the sister ship to the Wish, but it has some unique environments and shows. It's going to have a Coco dinner show. It's going to have a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea bar and Jungle Cruise bar. This one's got some interesting elements that we've got a whole article just went up today detailing. The Zootopia ice cream shop looks like a lot of fun too. So check that out, as well as more Zootopia information coming to Shanghai. They released some more details about that land.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is a big week. They're doing kind of the ramp up to D23. So
Yep.
I mean, honestly, just keep refreshing the website because there's going to be stuff dropping. It seems like
Yep.
every day they're doing little tidbits leading up to the weekend.
And keep in mind, Destination D23, if you are a D23 member, or I think even just maybe a Disney Plus subscriber, you'll be able to watch live streams of a lot of this. If you are not going and attending in person, you'll still be able to keep up. Go to d23.com for information about that. All right, so that is going to wrap up our little bit of intro here. So without any further ado, let's get into the news in the queue. All right, for our first bit of news in the queue, an expansion of the Haunted Mansion is coming to Disneyland. It's going to include a new queue and a new Madame Leota themed exit gift shop. It kind of looks like they're taking some elements that we've seen added over the years to the Walt Disney World version of the Haunted Mansion. And a little bit of that is going into Disneyland. And I'll say, if nothing else, an expanded queue is very needed, especially at this time of year, because with Haunted Mansion Holiday, that standby queue just spills out all the way to the train station.
Yeah, so I did it yesterday, even with Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
It is because there is no queue space, it's such a waste of resources to try to organize it. There was like 5 Haunted Mansion cast members that had to create kind of like a make their own snake of of our queue going around because there's really just no room for people, and then splitting the lines. So this is like much needed, if anything, to make their lives easier, because it was so difficult with trying to deal with line cutters and then people that just didn't know where to go, and then people that were like, why is the lightning lane this far back?
Yeah, it's so much labor just to organize that mass of people. And right now Phantasmic isn't running, but when you have like Phantasmic going on, you've got a busy day at Pirates, and then think about once the Tiana's restaurant right there in between them is open. That's just a cluster. And
Cluster.
so what they're going to be doing here is sort of to the side of the building. You can rest assured they are promising that the pet cemetery will still be there, that the horse-drawn funeral hearse will still be there, but it looks like they're going to expand the side, sort of bump it out a bit towards the train station, maybe fill in a little about that area where you would have the fountain. And it looks like half of that's going to be taken over with extended queue for Haunted Mansion, and maybe the rest of it is going to be more seating and area around the band shell for Tiana's Palace. Um,
Yeah, I think there's definitely room, like you said, bumping it to the train
hmm
station. I mean, if you think about the size of the pet cemetery and even the carriage, those are so small.
hmm
That's going to be fine. But
Yeah,
there's definitely room to the backside.
yeah, and it also looks like we've got a new little kind of greenhouse area, which might provide a little bit of shade and shelter, which is nice. And the gardens are going to have some design touches inspired by the characters Master Gracie, Madame Leota, and the one-eyed cat that was added into the attraction not too terribly long ago. Um, the one word that I noticed is not included in this press release is interactive. I think they've seen that the interactive queue at the Walt Disney World version tends to slow things down because people bunch up because they're playing with
Right.
stuff, and then you end up with a gap. So I think this is going to have things to look at while you walk through, but not a lot of things to touch. Uh,
We don't
just
need it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it's
that
not
is
really. Yeah,
no.
not really needed.
It's so beautiful, every
Yeah.
little detail of especially Disneyland's version. We don't need to interact. We could just look and appreciate things.
So, and then the other side of this is, as you're exiting, there's going to be a new carriage house, kind of where the marquee for Splash Mountain used to be on that side of the bridge. And this is going to be inspired by Madame Leota. It reminds me a bit of the Memento Mori shop that we have right outside of Walt Disney World's. Don't know exactly what the inside will be like, if there's going to be any kind of special experiences or, retail uh, type things. Like they had a ghostly portrait thing at the one in Walt Disney World for quite a while. So we'll have to see what is going on there, but it would definitely be nice to have Haunted Mansion merchandise a little closer to the Haunted Mansion, because right now you have to go all the way over closer to the Pirates exit to find any
Right.
Haunted Mansion merchandise. And I also think it's interesting they are finally adding an elevator to the exit. For folks who are in a wheelchair or otherwise have mobility issues, riding up that very steep speedway at the end can be very stressful. Now, if you want to give like your hamstrings a good stretch, it's perfect because you just sort of
It
like,
feels good, yeah.
lunge on. Oh, it feels great if you want to stretch out your calves. But if you've got like a walker or something, no good. So definitely will be nice to see that elevator option added. So this is all going to start in early January 2024. And it will be done sometime next year. Hopefully, it will be. I'm guessing that they are trying to get all this done for when Tiana's new ride opens. So it's all, that whole New Orleans Square area is all shiny and new.
Absolutely. And I can tell you there's nothing going on right now. When you exit, it's still that little cart that sells merch.
Yep.
It's all the same. So sure we'll see it like that through Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm very curious. I know that they only put this out because my 2024 Disneyland book was printed and came out about a week ago. So
Sure.
that's why. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's why. Moving on. We are heading over to Halloween Horror Nights 2023 at Universal Studios Hollywood. That is opening up this week. Just a
Yay.
couple days until Horror Nights in Hollywood starts, and it is going to include two new live entertainment experiences, which is one more piece of live entertainment than we have in Orlando this year. And they both sound really interesting. One is The Purge Dangerous Waters, which is basically the Waterworld show, which is the best stunt show ever. A nighttime version of it with The Purge. And then there is also Blumhouse Behind the Screams, which is it's a combination of a prop exhibit and also a character encounter with some scary folks from Megan and the Black Phone, as well as Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, I can't quite wrap my head around Behind the Screams yet, so I am very curious. I will be there opening night. I think it's going to be more like an exhibit than anything much
So
more.
I'm not going to give you the spoiler. I had someone who works there pass along the internal synopsis of what
Ooh.
happens during that, and it's not what I expected. I
Oh,
thought there's kind of a twist. So you go in expecting for one thing to happen, and then you get something different. But I think people who are a fan of Blumhouse films are definitely going to enjoy that.
well,
Uh,
now you're scaring me because if I'm not
Be
expecting a
afraid.
jump scare,
Be
I'm gonna
very,
like keep
very
my head.
afraid. Oh yeah, yeah. Expect a jump scare. That I will tell you. Expect a jump scare for sure.
Fingers crossed for the grabber.
Well, I actually, if I was out there, I would have to make Purge Dangerous Waters a priority. Because I remember back when the Bill and Ted show started at Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, it was basically the Wild, 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 Wild West stunt show with different characters thrown in. And I always thought it was fascinating how they just like rearranged and recycled the exact same stunts that they did during the day, slapped a different wig on, and got a whole new show. So here, I think you're going to see a lot of very similar action sequences, high falls. There's going to be a big fire burn. They will not be using the airplane,
Yeah.
which is kind of the signature stunt of Waterworld, but they do have a flamethrower that I would love to see in
Oh.
action. So I know there's just so much to do, and it's hard to fit everything in, but I hope you get a chance to see that while you're out there.
Absolutely. I actually did get frequent fear. So if my
Awesome.
body is not giving out by then, I'm gonna try to hit up every night of the first weekend to do
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
But I will see. I am excited though. I'm just happy to have any sort of live performers a part of this. So that makes me happy.
I should fly out and join you. I just got an email from Breeze. Breeze is
Yes.
shutting down operations from Orlando to California for the next 6 months or so. They're taking a break until March, but they have crazy cheap half price fares. Like I can fly for $50 each way this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
tempted
what?
to come on out and hang out
Do
with you.
it. A lot of people have had great experiences. No
Yeah.
frills, cheap. Do it.
Yeah. I've got SeaWorld in Orlando this weekend, and I'm also going to hit Halloween Horror Nights in Universal. But maybe I'll come out on Sunday and fly back, the next day.
Why
Who
not?
knows? Who knows? In
It's Disney
addition
World.
to those two live experiences, Universal Studios Hollywood this year also has 8 haunted houses, 3 scare zones, and plus the signature tram, which I love. This year's signature tram is going to feature the Exterminators with Larry Larva. He's so cute.
Yes. Terror Tram is my favorite thing of
I
any
have never. It
Halloween
is
event.
never. They've never had the Terror Tram
Oh,
running on the years that I've gone. So
oh.
I would love that experience. I'm hoping someday that I get to see that in person.
Yes, and I'm excited because this is gonna be leaning to more what I think is gonna be kitschy. When they did The
Hmm.
Purge, it was straight up scary. So I'm excited to see them take like a full blown kitsch approach to the
Yeah.
Terror Tram. So I cannot wait. I will be going on it a million times.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, and in addition to houses that we have here in Orlando, like The Last of Us, Stranger Things 4, Exorcist Believer, uh, Chucky, and Universal Monsters Unmasked. They've also got their own version of Evil Dead Rise this year. They've got a Monsters of Latin America maze and Holidays in Hell, which is an old favorite here from Orlando that they've resurrected. So,
Yeah. People are stoked for Holidays and Hell because that's just such a
mhm,
loved house. So when we get those returning ones, it's so exciting. I'm excited. All of their original ones are always excellent, and I feel
yeah,
feel this year on both coasts, it's a strong bunch of original IP.
yep. I can't wait to hear for your report all
Yeah.
about it. If you are interested in tending yourself, tickets sell out quick. They're going. So go ahead and visit universalstudioshollywood.com/HHN. Now for something completely different. We've got a couple news stories from Six Flags. And for starters, the Six Flags chain has partnered with Google Cloud, and they are going to introduce a cutting edge virtual assistant powered by generative AI that they hope will replace those pesky live human beings who used to help you. Um,
We'll
this,
see. I mean,
yeah. I mean, let's face it. Six Flags is definitely not the only company that is looking at AI chatbots and assistants to help reduce their labor costs. They are partnering, as I said, with Google Cloud. And they are saying this will help them transform their operations and, most importantly, enhance our guest experiences. So you're going to be able to have conversations with Google Cloud's Vertex AI uh, through the Six Flags mobile app and park websites later this year. And the AI chatbot will help you plan your day with personalized recommendations and answer customer questions, reducing the need to talk to an actual human being.
ooh,
Um,
I always skeptic when we hear this. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Operations are, kind of some of the largest takeaway of negatives we hear from folks when they visit Six Flags Park. So I don't know how this will work.
I would say that if they are, if they don't have enough good human beings, if the choice is between an AI helping me and nothing helping me at all, I guess I'll take the AI. I, of course, would always rather have a knowledgeable and friendly, well-trained human person. But there are probably some tasks that don't need to be performed by a human. But as long as, it's like with the thing with the phone tree, when you call in and they want you to, speak what you want, press the number, as long as I can keep hitting zero and finally get a human being,
Hmm.
fine. But if there's no way to get through to a human being, that's when I get a little frustrated.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, in terms of making personalized recommendations, we saw when Disney rolled out Genie that Genie was supposed to have free services that were going to help you plan your day and optimize your touring, and none of that works well at all. So we'll see if this
Right.
Six Flags service works any better.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could totally see it suggesting a roller coaster, and then that roller coaster's not even in operation that
Exactly.
day.
Well, and honestly, if this is generative AI, if this is anywhere in the same neighborhood as like a Chat GPT, it will invent things. It will happily make stuff up that does not actually exist, because it just doesn't know. It is not artificial, and what we are calling this generative AI, artificial intelligence. There is no actual intelligence there. It is just predicting what the most likely thing to say in response to a question is. It doesn't actually know what is right or wrong. It
Right.
just knows statistically what the most likely response is. So we're still a long way from real artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. Honestly, we don't have much actual intelligence in theme park operations. Expecting artificial intelligence when we don't have natural intelligence is
No.
maybe a little too much. But we do know that there's a lot of other things coming to Six Flags parks in 2024. And we've got a quick list of them, a full slate of new nationwide attractions that they've announced coming next year. And it's 8 different parks are getting new upgrades or new attractions, starting with Six Flags Great Escape in Queensbury, New York, which is getting a Bobcat wooden roller coaster. Looks like a little bit of a throwback. Top speed of under 40 miles an hour. Looks like a good family-friendly starter coaster. And it's nice to see a wooden coaster being built from scratch, because mostly wooden coasters these days are used for hybrid conversions like Iron Gwazi. You don't see a lot of them being built
Absolutely.
from the
I know a lot of people were really thrilled about that announcement again,
Mhm.
and because it is exciting, especially for that region, to have something new from the ground up.
Yep. Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington is revamping El Asoredo, which is opened in 1963 as the world's very first log flume. Well, in 2024, it will become El Rio Lento, It's getting a new lift hill and 2 drops. So great to see them taking a classic and giving it new life instead of just tearing it down. Uh,
Definitely.
Elsewhere in Texas, at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, they are doing a big expansion of their DC Universe area, starting with Cyber Revolution, which is a Zamperla. I believe the model is called the Nebula Z. It's got these 4
Yes.
arms that kind of spin around each other. It looks like it's going to crash into itself and just explode at any second, but it always just narrowly misses.
They're
It's
really fun to watch.
There's
I
so
watched the
much
one
fun
at
to stand back and
Carowinds.
watch. Yes.
Yes. I don't go on it though, and I
No.
don't know why. It's a little risky.
Yeah, these first popped up at IAPA a few years ago, and since then we've seen them installed, like you said, at Carowinds. They've got one at Adventure Dome in Las Vegas, and it's like an optical illusion. Like it doesn't look like it
Yeah.
could work, but it does. They're also getting a rotating drop tower themed to Shazam, and the thing that I think is the most fun, they're getting a Metropolis Transit Authority um, monorail. It sounds very much like the TTA at Magic Kingdom or the Seuss Trolley. I love I love just scenic sea tickets that, no thrills, no drops, just something that lets you get off your feet, relax, see the park. Something that everyone can enjoy. I think parks need way, way more of those kind of things.
Absolutely, and I believe that park is built into like an old limestone quarry. So there's
Yeah,
some scenic things
yeah.
to actually, witness. So this will be great.
Yeah. They're adding a bunch of new DC theming to some existing rides. Supergirl, Green Lantern, Poison Ivy, all lending their names to some existing attractions. So that DC Universe area is blowing up for sure. And then going back to my original home park, Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. 50 years old next year. Wow.
It looks it.
So they're getting a new Flash vertical velocity boomerang a roller coaster from Vekoma. Going to go forwards and backwards at almost 60 miles an hour. And they're doing a big revamp over at the Safari. This was the thing that one of my most distinct memories as a little kid was driving through there in our
The
family car,
monkeys.
and monkeys. Those monkeys were vicious. Like you did not go through there in a rag top. If you had a convertible, they would peel the top right off of your car.
They were. I remember you had to close your windows. It was very
Yes,
scary.
yes, terrifying. It was great. So they are building a Savannah Sunset Resort and Spa, so you can glamp overnight. Very upscale, tenting, but with all the amenities. And yeah, you can glamp and spa right inside the safari. It's a 350-acre wildlife park, and as far as the drive-through attraction goes, I've heard something about them either adding or replacing the self-driving component with a tour guide where you're driven through. So I'm not sure the exact details on that, but we will definitely be seeing that Savannah Sunset Resort coming around in 2024.
A very interesting addition. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. And then in Six Flags Great America and Six Flags St. Louis, they are both getting Zamperla spinning swing rides. They go almost 75 miles an hour. They soar about 172 feet in the air, and they are big nopes for me.
Same.
uh,
Same.
but they're going to be called, the one in St. Louis is going to be called Carnival of Chaos, themed after the Joker. And the one at Gurnee, Illinois' Great America will be called Sky Striker. In Six Flags Over Georgia, we've talked before about the water coaster that Intamin is building them. And Six Flags Great America is reimagining Steamtown into a steampunk land, celebrating the park's 25th anniversary next year. It's going to have another one of those Nebula Z spinner rides called Steam Wheeler, and along with some new theming to additional existing attractions. All these parks have some great deals going on right now. You can buy a pass that will include the rest of this year and all of next year, including Fright Fest happening at parks this month. And if you want more information, sixflags.com is the place to go. All right, that is going to bring us to the end of our news in the queue. And before we jump into this week's main attraction, it is time to hear a quick word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mousefan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
And
It's time for the main attraction.
okay, for this week's main attraction, you knew it. We have to talk about it. Halloween Horror Nights 32 is here in Orlando. I have not yet been, but you have.
Oh my God.
And
So good.
article here by our columnist Andy Haynes at attractionsmagazine.com. His personal reviews and rankings for every house and every scare zone. He did not get to see any of the shows or the hordes. But if you want to read Andy's opinion, please go to our website, attractionsmagazine.com. We've also got embedded YouTube videos with walkthroughs of pretty much all the houses. Carly, I want to hear your hot takes. What was good? What was bad? What was meh?
Yeah. I mean, again, all of this is subjective because it is art. So, you hear so many different opinions. Like Andy's list is like wildly different than mine. It
Okay.
depends on if you are going when they are changing over scare actors, if you were going when some scare actors didn't start yet, if you were in the middle of the group and don't get any jump scares. There are so many factors. And for me personally, like over the season, my favorites will usually change. I went opening night and did a rip tour, and then I went back Saturday with friends and did Express. And I will say this to me is like the strongest collection of houses in a long time. So all but one I was really happy with.
Excellent. Well, we'll get to that one.
Yeah, I'll get to the one. The range, I think it's really interesting. We have obviously the popular IPs like Stranger Things, but also, they're really like flexing their creative muscles with the original IPs. And those are so good this year. Blood Moon was one of my favorites. I think this is the first time a house has been set in that colonial era. I know they've done one earlier, but I think they really went in, and there is some of the most scenically beautiful work of any of the houses because you're walking through a village. So it's like you're outside, but inside. Yeah. Incredible. I love Dr. Oddfellow. Oh my God. Love, love, love him. His house is in my top 3.
Okay.
It is like a demented circus. It is so detailed. You even catch him, killing Jack. So it's like done via shadows. Amazing. And then he's also integrated into all the scare zones. You see like a young Dr. Oddfellow in the Jungle of Doom. The storytelling level is just so good. I will say. So quick favorite houses.
Yes.
Stranger Things.
Okay.
So good. They brought the most iconic scenes from season 4 to life, and I feel like they did justice to it. Dr. Oddfellow.
I believe Andy's complaint about Stranger Things is that he hasn't seen season 4, and that if you go in without pre-existing knowledge of what the characters or the scenes are, they don't really stand up on their own without the context of the show.
Yes. But I could say that for any other house that is an IP. If I don't watch the movie, I don't
Yeah.
really care about it. Like for example, The Last of Us. I tried watching it. I couldn't
Hmm.
get into it. I appreciated the house because it was real, also very detailed. It reminded me of like an Evil Dead house.
Okay.
That's all you really need to know.
Okay.
But I feel like that's with a lot of them. If you don't really get into, I try to watch everything before, but it's obviously impossible.
Hmm.
But Stranger Things does service the fans if you love season 4. Like I'm a moderate Stranger Things fan. I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan. I watched season 4. I liked it. I like the
I
show.
I
I'm
have only
not
one
crazy.
question about it. Is there Kate Bush? Okay, as long as I hear
Yeah.
running up that
Yeah.
hill,
You will hear
that's
you will hear it.
that's all
Yes.
I care about.
Music is a big part of it. The favorite characters from that season are a big part of it. They really did a good job with that. My other favorite, Dr. Oddfellow.
Yeah.
So good. And Blood Moon, just so scenically beautiful. My least favorite by really, 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 really a lot was Chucky.
Yeah, I am hearing that a lot. I
Yeah.
have had more than one person say that Chucky is just not on the same
And
level as
I'm
everything else.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Everything else is really good this year and set the bar, and
Mhm.
that one just falls flat for me. It's a lot of video screens. I'm super bummed
Uh,
because I bounded as Chucky for opening weekend because
oh,
I love Chucky. He's one of my favorite, my favorite murderers. Um, but the house is just
save
uh
that clip.
yes. uh it's just not good. Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
when
a
you
shame
compare,
because I'm a fan of
yeah,
puppets. I like the fact I
yeah,
like the fact that they have puppets in there.
yeah.
That's the all
When
right.
it can't hold its own to, it's like
Yeah.
going to like a local haunted house and then the rest of the places are just big budget movie sets.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, Chucky just falls flat. I thought his Cabana Bay photo op was better than the house.
Oof, oof. Well, I think he's sort of hamstrung. I thought they did a good job last year um by having kind of two half haunted houses in that Fast and the Furious queue.
Oh yeah.
But this it's a hard place to put a really well themed house because you always feel like you're in the Fast and the Furious queue.
Yes. Yeah, so
Uh,
that was disappointing, but it's okay
that's
because
too bad.
again, I still think it's one of the strongest years just because of so many strong houses. And then like you're pulling up the monsters and masks.
Yeah.
That was great too. It's like,
Yeah.
and the scenically again, there's some really good, really good set scenes in there. That's a great one too. It's a really a well done year. I enjoyed it much more than I did last year.
Yeah.
Last year was like not really one of my favorites in a while, but as a whole collection, the range, there's a little something for everyone,
I've had very mixed feelings even since before COVID. Going back almost for the last 5 years. I've had some very mixed feelings about the creative direction of Horror Nights, and especially since COVID, the last couple of years have felt very weird. But it's good to hear that this seems like a return to form. Seems like
Absolutely.
they've
Yeah.
they've found the one that I personally have been most looking forward to as an old Islands of Dueling Dragons, based on the original roller coaster that was replaced by Hagrid's. Did you enjoy that
Yes.
one? Did you pick
I
fire or ice?
So I did both and
Oh,
I got multiple endings. So I was really
nice.
happy because there are 4 different endings you can get. Well, you pick 2 options, obviously fire, ice, and then in each there's 2. So I got 2 of like the main Merlin's involved, we'll just say.
Yeah.
But I was able to experience it. It is excellent. I love the roller coaster growing up.
Mm,
You get vibes of the queue because the queue on that was always so scary. I thought it
yeah.
was always scarier than, even when they had that kid swap in that little dungeon, like it was a creepy, creepy queue. They really brought it to life with this
I don't,
house. It was good.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right above me on the shelf right behind me is one of the skulls that used to be inside the queue of Dueling Dragons. They auctioned off a few of them for charity when they disassembled the ride, and it's one of my favorite little props. So I hope that there's a tribute to that those walls of skulls in
Yep.
there. Can't wait to see it. Um, let's talk a little bit about operations. You mentioned that one night you had an RIP tour and one night you had Express. I've actually seen on Facebook a lot of people complaining that they have Express and the Express wasn't Express enough, that they felt like Standby was going faster than Express.
I
I don't know about that, but how did you
I
feel that the crowds, how did you feel the wait times were on your first weekend?
So I saw a lot of people, really complaining about the Express. I didn't have any issues.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are also the people that show up like right in the middle of the event when it's the busiest and then just
Mm-hmm.
expect to walk on. For me personally, I did after my rip tour, I did Express to end the night and I went on a few more, walked on instantly. When I
Mm-hmm.
went back Saturday, I got there for opening. I did like the, ceremony and then I immediately walked on to several houses with Express. I didn't have that issue. I thought last year operations were a little problematic. I timed one night using Express and sometimes I waited like 20 to 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that problem this weekend. The houses were in the 100+ minute range
Yeah.
for
Yep.
a good chunk of the while. So if you were doing standby, you will be waiting. I don't know if the price increase deterred people from going because it felt just as busy as it's
Mm-hmm.
been.
Yep.
I can't vouch for food because I didn't really make that a priority for me this weekend, but I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people said they waited a while,
Sure.
but that's usually the case with food. But I thought express wise, I didn't have any issues when I was trying to get into a house. I don't think I waited more than 10, 15 minutes.
That's great to hear. That's great to
Yeah,
hear. Yeah, because you know, back in the day, we used to say that the express wait should be 20 minutes or 25% of the standby wait. And last year, on average, express was getting up to about 50% of standby.
yes.
So it will be nice to see. We got to keep an eye on statistics, but it would be nice if they can balance that. People are spending a lot of money on express, and they don't want to be not only be able to get through a few haunted houses even with express. I personally am a big fan of Stay and Scream or Scream Early, whatever you want to call it. If you have an
Right.
annual pass, you're always eligible for it, or you can buy a day ticket or a special bridge ticket. Getting yourself into one of those holding areas by like 4 o'clock, because that's when people really start lining up for them, and like figuring out whether that two or three most important most popular houses and knocking them off first thing. There is the risk, when you're one of those first people in line when they first open the house, you might not get the full experience because sometimes it takes a little bit for the cast to kind of warm up and for everyone to be in place. So
Right.
sometimes the very first person of the night going through gets sort of a half of experience. But if it's that or waiting 100 something minutes in line for a house, I'll pick that. And
Absolutely. And I feel like that's good if you're not doing express.
yeah,
Last year I did one
if
night
you're
where I
not
didn't
doing
do
express, you
express.
have to do early. It's the
And
only
if you
way.
want to get the most done, you have to do that.
Yeah.
I intended to do Stay and Scream on Saturday, but I was wasting away in Margaritaville and I missed. So just you have to get in by like 4:59, or you
Yes,
cannot get
they
in.
they they cut that gate
Yeah.
hard, and there is, if you are staying on property, there is a special gate over by where the Blue Man Group used to be. But this year, you do not get into any of the houses early, so they'll let you into the park a little early, but they are holding you there. So if you want to do Stay and Scream, if you want to get early entry into a house, you got to make sure you are through the gates well before. It's actually even before 5 because like if you have an annual pass, like with my premier pass, I've got to scan once at the front gate to get into the park, and then I've got to scan it again to
Yep.
use the premier pass. And there's like a timer thing. You have to wait about 10 minutes between scans. I've had that happen to me. So whatever you do, just don't cut it too short. I would say make sure you're where you need to be by 4 o'clock, a full hour before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
And
but
then you can relax with a drink,
yeah, yeah.
figure out where you want to go. Last year, like the Black Phone, the Blumhouse was one of my favorites. So I would do
Hmm.
Shea Alcatraz and then I could just get, right in
Yeah.
there. So it depends on if you want to hit the most popular, do you want to go to what's most important to you, just figure out what those houses are get there early and relax. Don't cut it close because that horde that gathers at the archway, we got in very quickly and we were pretty well towards the back of it. They were really checking people in very quickly once it opened, but you will be stuck out there.
Yep. Yep. I've generally found that the one at Finnegan's, the New York area, is going to be the first one to fill up and shut off, and they'll start diverting you. So if you want to be at the Finnegan's area for the soundstage houses, definitely make that a priority. Second priority is the Simpsons. That one fills up a little bit later. And the Richters, that's a good last resort because that seems to be the least popular of the Scream areas.
Right. And you could like realistically bang out 2 to 4. I think like last year I got 4 doing Stay and Scream one night right away.
I very often, if you start out with a soundstage house, then you head right over to the sprung houses in the back, and then work your way around. I've been able to get 4 and even 5 houses done by like 7 p.m.
Just hustle, you have to
it's totally possible to do. I have not personally had an RIP tour or a express pass in almost 10 years. I do every year. I do at least 9 houses, and most year I'm able to do 10 houses in a night without express. But you got to really, it's exhausting. It's such a long day. It's such a
it really is. It's a lot. I'm actually coming back in a few weeks to do a RIP tour with my family.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how my opinion changes. Because again, so much can happen during a season. And it might just be you.
It always evolves. It's always evolving. The cast is getting hold of figuring out their scares and their timing. The houses themselves are the reason people go, but honestly, like the first 2 hours, the last hour, you can do houses. The middle of the night, if you want to do a house and you don't have express or a RIP tour, you're going to be waiting multiple hours just for one house sometimes. So what did you
prefer just to not go on houses during that time?
Exactly. So what did you think of Scare Zones? Did you have any favorite Scare Zones this year? And did you get to see any of the shows or any entertainment?
I didn't do the shows yet. I was kind of just focusing on the houses the opening weekend. I loved the Jungle of Doom. So Dr. Oddfellow is
a very obscure throwback because Jungle of Doom, from what I remember, was the one year that or one of the 2 years they had an Islands of Adventure. That was the Jurassic Park. So I don't know, have mutated dinosaurs in it?
No.
Or it's okay.
No.
So they didn't bring those back. I have seen the bats hanging from overhead as you walk through the Central Park area, which is pretty great. Here we go. Jungle of Doom.
Yeah, that was great. And then there's a little stage in there. So you see a young Dr. Oddfellow and he's in like his adventurer's outfit. Loved it. And then Vamp. That was so good. There was like 60 Woodstock-esque scare actors.
I love the psychedelic bus that they have.
Oh,
it's like,
my God. I have never seen a scare zone with so many people. If you stood like at the corner where the tribute store is when they all come out, you're like, when is this line ending? When is this ending? When is it ending? There was 60 scare actors in that scare zone. It's amazing. Everyone looks fabulous. Those were 2 of the best. The rest I was like, is this a scare zone? But those 2 were super strong in my opinion.
Yeah, just walking through here during the day is great.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the tribute store. I don't know if we mentioned it in this article here, but don't overlook that tribute store. I think that the tribute store is the best tribute store that they've done so far. And the best storytelling. Like it's got more plot in that tribute store than most haunted houses have, most rides have. I'm as a fan of like the movie Creep Show and the old EC comics. It hits the tone perfectly well. My only gripe is, where on earth did Boris Schuster get a brother from? Okay, I
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think the captain is going to return from the grave and haunt whoever is in creative now, who is adding to his backstory. Because Boris Schuster did not have a brother. But other than that,
And
thumbs up on the
speaking of
food store.
backstory, I really love the Discover Universal podcast, especially about the tribute store. So before you go, anyone out there, listen to the stories. That's a great one because they're really just interviewing the creatives. Some of the houses, like Blood Moon, they have a dramatic telling of the story. They're a little dramatic, but I like to know everything. And also for Vamp, there's also a podcast
Ah,
of the backstory. So enjoyable. Definitely do it for the tribute store because you have to know it's 4 separate comic books that are based in the
mhm.
4 separate rooms, and this really does a good job of explaining it, so you will appreciate it much more.
You mentioned that you didn't really get into the food and drink this year yet, but
So I ate a lot, sampled a lot
okay.
at the media events, so I can't speak
Yes.
on the operation side of
Sure,
it, but
sure,
I can
sure.
speak on the delicious side of it.
Yes. What
Um,
is your favorite taste of terror this year? What did you
I
enjoy?
really loved the Last of Us ravioli. I mean,
Everyone
if
is talking about the ravioli. It comes,
okay,
let's see if we have a picture. It comes in a can straight out of the game, right?
uh, I loved it because it's a little bit more filling. I mean, some of these lines get long, so to be able to eat something and then it's not just like you're eating air, like
One
it could
bite. Yeah.
actually fill you, and you're like, okay, I don't need to stop again. I can like really focus on the houses. The sauce that was in was really good. I thought we all agree they kind of changed it up a little bit from when we did Taste of Terror a few weeks ago,
Oh, okay.
and it was much more flavorful and
Yeah.
delicious. There is a coffin samosa that I believe is vegetarian or vegan. It's like an sort of like
Okay.
an African spice, potato and peas. That was really good. The Hellfire cake is very good. As far as drinks, if you liked spiked coffee drinks, I
Ah,
can't remember the name, but there's a spiked coffee cocktail. It's sweet, so if you were like I'm a black coffee drinker, so I probably wouldn't have more than one,
right.
but that was good. I was actually really impressed with the food. The only thing I was a little sad about is Dr. Oddfellow's hot dog. Did you see
Oh,
pictures
it
of this?
I feel like this is something that is designed to be Instagrammed but not eaten. This is like cotton candy flavored and bubble
I'm
gum and
I'm still
right?
upset. It tastes just like a hot dog. I wanted it to be like insane flavors. It literally just tasted like a hot dog. The
Really?
funstetti bun looked like funstetti, but it just tasted like a hot dog bun. The pickles were marinated in Kool-Aid, but they just tasted like pickles. So I took a
It's
bite
a
of
bait and
it and I was like,
switch.
yes, it just tasted like a hot dog. And I was
All right.
sad. I wanted to be like mortified.
You wanted to be disgusting and it was merely
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. It was
All
fine.
right.
It was just like a basic hot dog.
Well, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I personally am looking forward to stopping by the Dead Coconut Club. I don't know if you've gotten
mm,
a chance to yet. I
I
loved what they did with it last year, and this year it's in 3D.
It was way better than last year. I thought. I went.
Oh,
They
great.
did a annual pass holder preview night
Yes.
last Thursday, which was the eve of opening. Oh my god, it's so good. The band is so good. That we got these doo-wop girls. They were singing
Yes.
everything from like Hanson to old school. They did such a good job with it.
Wonderful. I can't wait to check that out. I know I've got some friends who are might be seen as the monsters in there. I know Dracula was spotted. Um,
Yes, we
I
had
did not.
Frankenstein. Yeah, it was good.
I also did not get a chance to see. I was hanging around. I was there on opening night of Halloween. I just left before the event started. I was looking for the Death Eaters because I was hoping that they might roam around Diagon Alley before the nighttime hours start. And I did see some pictures that looked like they were out before 5 o'clock.
Huh.
But I'm not really sure what their schedule is or exactly what they're doing.
You
I
know
need to
what?
check that out.
I did see people say that they went there and didn't find them. Me personally, I went Saturday night kind of
Uh huh.
late because I didn't want to see them in the daylight. I want to see them
Right.
in the dark.
Sure.
And they looked great and they were everywhere.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to be able to check it all
Yay.
out for myself next week, and maybe we can compare some notes. Um, if it's like you said, this is a popular year. I know, like the frequent fear passes for they had sold out of the opening couple nights of frequent fear. So if you are planning on attending, you want to make your plans and purchase your tickets now over at universalorlando.com.
Yes, and then Express sells out in advance a lot of time
Oh yeah.
too. So I know some people were waiting to last minute to try to get it. Don't do that.
Yeah,
If you
no.
think you want it, get it.
Plan ahead, and make sure that you know that buying your ticket to the event and your express pass or your RIP tour are completely separate things here in Orlando. If you're out in Hollywood, it's a package ticket, but here everything is a la carte. So don't buy express passes and forget to buy admission
Yeah.
because they won't give you a refund. Nope, sorry.
Yes, it
Um,
is. It is very confusing, and the rules are
yeah.
different in Hollywood. We can't stay in Scream with our annual pass anymore. So I'm gonna hopefully try to navigate all that this weekend, and we'll let you know
Good
how to
luck
do
and
that.
report back in case
Yes.
I go out there. Maybe fingers crossed. Who knows? Well, before we wrap this up, let us take a quick look back at some of our comments. Michael Bingham is hoping that the outside of the Haunted Mansion and the store will be opening when he goes to Disneyland
Yes.
in March of 2024. They've said that they're going to start construction in January, so March might be a little optimistic.
Yep.
But I would say closer to the spring. When we know when the opening date for Tiano's Bio Adventure will be, we'll probably also know the opening date for all the rest of that stuff.
Definitely.
Um, Michael Bingham also pumped to see the tribute store. Enjoy. It was excellent. Um, and NYs are wondering if we've seen the musical Phantom of the Opera. Of course,
Yes.
I saw it on Broadway when it first opened back in the '80s. Yes, I am that old. I saw the revised version on tour. I've seen that terrible movie. I've seen
Oh
just about
God.
every version of Phantom you can imagine. You?
Yeah. A few times on Broadway, and it is one of my least favorite musicals. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And also, the damn balcony of that theater, the La Fontaine, is
Oh
like you
yes,
have to
yes.
climb to get up it. It is just, it's not one of my
The
favorites.
the first time I saw that was student tickets sitting in the back row,
Oh yeah.
absolute last seat
You
in that balcony.
crawl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I would always do Student Rush growing up.
Yes. Back when you could
Not
see a
my thing.
Broadway show for like $20.
Yes. I miss those
I
days.
miss those days. All right. Well, thank you to everyone who joined us for the show this week. And once again, of course, thank you to our sponsors, MEI and Mousefan Travel. Thanks to all of you for going to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and giving us a review or a rating. It really helps us out. Please be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on your socials. Carly, where can everyone find you?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on X or Twitter, whatever, at Carly Caramata.
You can find me and my books at theunofficialguides.com and on social at theunofficialguides. And until next week, we hope that you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. We will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.